All right, folks. This is not going to be a very positive review for NXT April 27th, 2021 review. This was a god-awful fucking show, and I'm actually recording this with 10 minutes left of the show because they decided that the main event should be a six-man tag team match with MSK and Kushida versus Lel del Fantasma with Santos Escobar and his two cronies. I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. This was a fucking complete boring show. There was not really anything noteworthy to watch except for Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly's reaction towards the interview he had on the show with someone at a pool with him in a suit. Outside of that, the rest of the show is trash. Really, this show was fucking trash beyond belief. This was like watching a Monday Night Raw episode. There was nothing exciting about this show. Nothing. This is not NXT anymore. This is like this is like Monday Night Raw with fucking NXT wrapped around it just to cover it up to pretend it's not like Monday Night Raw, but it is. I am sorry, but NXT is the worst. It's the worst it's ever been. I mean, it has been complete, utter trash. I don't even know if I'm going to review this next week. I can't believe this is the first time ever I've ever done this before on any episode I've ever covered on this channel where I actually went ahead and cut out watching the main event and went straight to the review just to get this shit over with for you guys because I just couldn't fucking stand it. It was that fucking bad. Literally, there was nothing here to watch. The matches, I don't even fucking remember. The only match I really remember is Austin Theory versus Bronson Reed, which in my personal opinion should have been the fucking main event of the show. That made more sense. It was about trying to get an opportunity for the NXT North American Championship in the future. A six-man tag team match with two mid-card groups that aren't going to see the light of day. If they make it to the main roster, and they're not going to do diggly shit nothing. They'll probably sit in catering, sucking down Titus O'Neil's fucking wonderful catering food. This show, this company, not the show, NXT doesn't suck. They have great talent. I love the talent. That's why I'm tuning in for it. But at the end of the day, guys, there was no Karrion Kross on the show. There was no Finn Balor, which was announced that he is actually coming back after getting his ass kicked. Apparently, Karrion Kross sent him on a fucking 2-week vacation. They sent him on a 2-week vacation. They show him and his girlfriend hanging out at the beach, taking photos and shit. I cannot... and wearing luchador masks in fucking Mexico. Buddy, Finn Balor, you ought to just stay in fucking Mexico. You probably will get a lot more benefits out of living there than coming back over to the United States and performing for this fucking piece of shit company known as WWE. I am sick of WWE, guys. I am truly fed up with this company. I can't deal with it no more. This company is fucking boring. There's nothing exciting about this product anymore. I honestly, at this point in time, I don't know if I'm going to cover NXT next week. I've already cut out Monday Night Raw. I can't deal with 3 hours of fucking wrestling. I just don't know if I can deal with this. I really don't. I don't know how in the hell these people who do these reviews can actually sit through this shit outside of the fact that they're getting paid. That's the only thing I can figure that is why they actually joined the show. By the way, Ted DiBiase joined the NXT roster as a manager. I'm apparently guessing he's going to be joining with Cameron Grimes, Mr. Moneymaker, to the moon. He's going to the moon. You may want to bring some oxygen tanks, you fucking dipshit. Oh, God, this show sucks. Really, this show is just as bad as Monday Night Raw, and I can't believe that's coming out of my mouth. When when I am a huge fan of this the NXT is one of my favorite brands of WWE, and now they're turning that into shit. They had to break up the fucking the Undisputed Era. Why? They are, without each other, they are nothing without each other. They are what holds that brand together, number one. Number two, Adam Cole said something that is absolutely 100% true. Without Adam Cole, NXT sucks. He is the guy that's been carrying NXT on his back. Those comments, I have to admit, are absolutely true, especially when they went to NXT. When they went to USA, excuse me. When they went to USA, that is when this company had to depend on Adam Cole. Kyle O'Reilly is not the guy. Kyle O'Reilly, if he was intense, had, wasn't acting goofy like he was last week with fucking Cameron Grimes, and their main event was fucking Cameron Grimes versus Kyle O'Reilly. Are you fucking kidding me? Really? You're gonna tell me that is important? That's something we should be interested in? Give me a fucking break, man. I can't believe they have the audacity to show this kind of shit on one of the better shows of WWE, and they show us this crap. We have Dakota Kai versus Mercedes Martinez in a one-on-one match. This ended up being a DQ because of some of the interaction with Raquel Gonzalez and Mercedes Martinez. I have to say, this was a very good opener to the show. I wish they would have had a conclusion to the match, but they didn't, with the kind of confrontation that Raquel Gonzalez and Martinez had, going back and forth outside the ring while the referee's back was turned, checking on Dakota Kai to see if she was okay, and Raquel Gonzalez cost her the match, and Martinez got her ass whooped, thrown into a fucking plexiglass on the outside of where the barricades are, and she got her ass whooped pretty bad. I have to admit, the match was good. It was a nice opener. I was getting a little bit, maybe this is going to be a decent show, worth watching the whole 2 hours. But as the show went on, folks, it got worse and worse and worse. And it wasn't, mind-numbing. It wasn't an insult to my intelligence. It's just the dialogue these guys are saying now sound very generic, very similar to Monday Night Raw type shit. On top of it, they don't seem like they're portraying themselves anymore. They're being more like I just said, generic. Just happy smiles. Give me a fucking break with the damn smiles. You're in there to kick each other's ass and win a fucking title. You're not there to play patty cake with each other and fucking play around with one another. Give me a fucking break with this shit. Where's some fucking seriousness with this damn shows? SmackDown's about the only show that I look at as something that's worth watching. Isn't that fucking pathetic? And the only reason is because of one guy, Roman Reigns. Now, if that doesn't spell out Roman Reigns' agenda, I don't know what is. Don't get me wrong. Roman Reigns is very good at what he's doing now. He has a reason to be booed for what he's doing. He's a dick. And he plays a very good dick at that. But at the end of the day, guys, what are we getting outside of Roman Reigns playing the character he's playing? Are we getting anything exciting on any of these shows? Fuck no. We're getting nothing. The only thing that would be worth doing is merging both Raw and SmackDown, get rid of the fucking brand split bullshit Only thing that needs to remain on where it is NXT, because they're a developmental system, which is what AEW and the rest of the guys from AEW, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, they had mentioned that when they first started competing against NXT. They said people would tune into us more than you guys. And the reason why is because you're a developmental system and we're not. We're the main show. We're the main roster. We're the real deal. And guess what? They were right. They are the real fucking deal. And at the end of the day, people didn't want to tune into NXT as much as AEW because they know for a fact that at the end of the day, we know when these guys move on from NXT, they'll no longer be existent. They'll be irrelevant to all of us. Everything that we'll want to cheer for will die. Everything they had going for them in NXT will be stripped away. What is the fucking point of producing a good show at NXT? That's probably why we're getting what we're getting now at NXT. We're getting shit. This is the worst I've ever seen NXT ever. This is trash. 100% trash. Unfucking believable. I don't even care what the fucking results are of the main event. Because it wasn't a main event. It is not worth being in the main event. Hell, you could even ended the fucking show with Adam Cole sitting there talking about what's going on, about how he's feeling after the match he had with Kyle O'Reilly, and have Kyle O'Reilly staring at the TV screen being upset at the comments that he made. That would have been a better ending than this fucking hunk of shit. What a fucking joke. Unbelievable. They're on fucking TV. Go to Peacock, please. Go to fucking Peacock and do an hour show. I used to say, NXT would do so much better with 2 hours. Yeah, they would if they weren't having Vince McMahon shoved up its ass. Because all it's doing is being on a USA Network is all of Vince McMahon's bullshit ideas and ways of doing things on national television is rubbing off on NXT, and Triple H is probably just doing what he's told by Vince McMahon himself. Because he's the guy who makes the final decision. Let's get real, guys. This company is shit. There ain't no reason for any of us to even care. Any of us. This is a worthless fucking product. They don't care. Why should we? They don't give a fuck. They're making money hand over fist. And at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck. Vince McMahon does not give a fuck about the people under him, because at the end of the day, what he can do is, once he stops finding other sources of making money, he just sells off the fucking product and makes a big chunk load of money at the end of the day. And he goes off and retires and is done with it. I've been speaking this for the I think I've been stating this for the last, since the beginning of this year, possibly. I'm pretty certain that's what I did. I stated this in the beginning of this year, that this company was going to get sold off at some point in about 2 to 3 years. I think in about 2 or 3 years, we will no longer see WWE in existence unless the person who buys them out decides to keep them in business. But bottom line, I don't think we're going to be seeing WWE for very much longer, and that's not because anyone's going to beat them in the ratings or anything else. Vince McMahon's going to lose assets of making money, and he's just going to go ahead and cut his losses and say, goodbye, fuck y'all, you're all fired, good luck to your future endeavors, I'm selling off the product, have a nice life. That's it, done and over with. That's all they're going to do. That's all Vince McMahon's going to do. And his son-in-law and his daughter, of course, will get and his son, actually, Shane McMahon, will all get benefits from their dad. He'll probably share some of the money with them, and they'll go off and do whatever they're going to do. But he ain't selling them shit unless they buy it from him, which I don't think they ain't got enough fucking money that Vince McMahon's going to want. I mean, they got money, but they ain't got the kind of money that he would be looking for. What he'd be looking for is something like a couple $1 billion or something like that. Maybe even more than that. Who the fuck knows? So, Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Amber Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. My God, this was a fucking terrible segment. Felt very, very generic to a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown show with the women's wrestlers. They're mentioning that their NXT Women's Tag Team titles defense against The Way will come next week. They are focused on tonight's non-title match against the Robert Stone brand and are determined to hang on to the titles. A crew member brings a bouquet of flowers to the champs right as Frankie Monet walks up with her dog. God help us. What is the fuck with Frankie Monet appearing in every fucking major segment with a woman wrestler? I mean, she hasn't had a match yet. Let her have a fucking match. Fuck this, I'm gonna interrupt this segment, I'm gonna interrupt that segment. Have a fucking match first. Then you could start doing shit like this. Have a couple of matches and start winning and showing off that you're a great talented wrestler first before you start acting cocky and acting like a schmuck in front of all the other talent each and every week. For God's sakes, this is fucking retarded. So Frankie introduces herself like they don't fucking already know if they've been watching the show. They probably haven't. They probably just do their segment and then they pack up and go home. Probably because they're so fucking fed up of working for this company and they know what's awaiting them on the other side. She introduces herself and says it looks like someone has a crush on Moon and Blackheart. Monet reads the card on their flowers and laughs as it says they're from Dexter Lumis. Why the fuck is Dexter Lumis sending these two schmucks fucking flowers? I thought he was interested in Indy Hartwell. What the fuck am I watching here? Then and then Monet walks off as Moon and Blackheart make it clear that they want nothing from Loomis, and they go to commercial. Amber Moon also mentions that she's married and she can't accept flowers from anyone but her husband. So apparently she must have thought those flowers from her husband, and Shotzi Blackheart may have thought that she had some fucking mysterious person that was interested in her that she didn't know. That's a possibility. The whole situation with Indy Blackheart not receiving the flowers, I think have something to do with her taking those flowers and actually dumping them off to someone else. That is what I think. And I think that had to do with the fact that The Way are actually getting a shot for the tag team titles. So chances are Dexter Lumis isn't going to be... They're not going to be hanging around... she's not going to be hanging around with Dexter Lumis for very much longer, thank Christ. I hope that's the case, because this whole thing with Dexter Lumis being interested in Indy Hartwell's got to end real quick. Put a fucking dagger in his heart. Please. Get this shit over with. So back from the break, we see a video from earlier today. Cameron Grimes, straight to the moon! Entering a local jewelry store, Grimes is here to get something nice for someone, a special someone, meaning himself. Wow. Could have fooled me, asshole. Grimes goes on and reveals he's looking for the shiniest, most expensive watch in the city. Who the fuck wears watches these days? Unless to just show off, really, because cell phones have watches. They tell you the fucking time, so what the hell you need a watch for? But he was looking at very nice Rolexes, I believe it was. Grimes says he has nothing but time, but then yells at the jeweler for taking too long. That makes a lot of sense, and then we'll get a segment later on in the show. We go back to the ring, and the Grizzled Young Veterans are out. This was actually a very nice thing. Grizzled Young Veterans are actually one of the tag teams on this on this brand that I'm very interested in. I hope eventually win the tag team titles. James Drake and Zach Gibson, they are dressed in suits and they have mics. Drake talks about the NXT champions, MSK, being in tonight's six-man main event and how they will compete in any kind of match without having to defend the titles against he and Gibson. Gibson calls them knobheads and goes on about how the men make the titles, not to be recognized as the most important NXT. Oh, sorry. I skipped on. Not the other way around is what they stated. So the men make the titles, not the titles make the men. And Gibson says they are the fire that will ignite this tag team division, soon to be recognized as the most important NXT tag team. Most definitely at this point in time, in my eyes, you are the most brilliant tag team wrestlers going right now in WWE. The best. There ain't no tag team right now that's better. The second best is Dolph Ziggler and fucking Bobby Roode. And I'm talking specifically in WWE, folks, okay? Let's not get this bent out of proportion. I'm not talking about in the world. God help us all. Dolph Ziggler and fucking Bobby Roode couldn't touch a candle at Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, and they are no longer a tag team. So please, spare us all with the bullshit with what Michael Cole said a couple of weeks ago. That was a fucking joke and a half. So then their music hits, and they're interrupted by Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. They're a good tag team. I mean, I'll give them that, but they're not a legit tag team. They're a team that just was matched together because they probably just don't have anything creative for them right now. And they figure, why not put them together? They fought very well together against each other. Why not see how well they can be as a tag team? Made sense. It's not something I would prefer, but it made somewhat of sense. So, Ciampa points that they're both veterans. GYV talks about being leaders of the division, and that's something he and Toothless Timothy know about. I didn't like the comment made by Tommaso Ciampa calling Timothy Thatcher Toothless Timothy. That's like calling Chris Benoit Toothless Chris Benoit, or Toothless Chris. They called him, he was Toothless Aggression, but it kind of worked, and I thought it was funny when they did it, but this just seems like he's a fucking adolescent child with a missing tooth. I mean, come on. Toothless Timothy. What the fuck? Now, Timothy, put your tooth underneath your bed. The tooth fairy will come and give you some money afterwards. That tooth will grow right back in. Don't worry about it. Yeah. What a fucking joke. I'm in some kind of mood, man. This has been one boring fucking show, and it made me pissed. To sit through almost 2 hours of boring-ass bullshit and get no satisfaction whatsoever but a few dinky segments here or there, and the rest of the show is complete trash. Give me a fucking break. So Thatcher and Ciampa are in the ring now. Ciampa brings up how GYV found a way last time they were in the ring. Thatcher has been studying some of GYV's old tapes. Thatcher found a lot of strengths, but he watched the NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff event where they lost the NXT UK Tag Team titles to Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Thatcher gets hyped up as the two teams face off. He and Ciampa attack with their shoes. I don't know why that even came up. I thought that was completely idiotic. And get the upper hand. Gibson pulls Drake to safety, and they regroup out at ringside. The two teams yell at each other as Ciampa's music starts up, and that is that. What a fucking joke. They take off their shoes to hit their opponents in the head. Have you ever heard anything so fucking stupid? Why did Timothy Thatcher have to take off his fucking shoe to hit him in the head? He could have just punched him in the fucking face. Takes off his shoe and hits him in the head. What a fucking load of shit. What dumb shit. Mackenzie is backstage with Killian Dane and Drake Maverick asking about their match with Imperium tonight. Drake has been watching wrestling a long time and he knows how this will go. Either Dane will join Imperium or Dane will walk out on him in the middle of the tag team match. Dane interrupts and quotes a famous man telling Drake to have faith. Dane walks off and Drake asks if Dane just quoted George Michael. Well, am I really... like, they are making their characters week by week dumber and dumber. Now, I know I said that this shit doesn't insult my intelligence. It was just more boring than anything else. But my God, man. This is so fucking stupid. This show is boring and it is just a fucking waste of time, folks. Really, it's a waste of time. We see Tan Shay backstage somewhere now, and Axa Lee cuts a promo in Chinese as Bo stands next to her. Mei Ying appears and blows smoke as we go to commercial. Yes, I'd like to blow smoke too. It's called marijuana or something else of that kind. Like a cigar or some kind of shit. Because this was fucking crap. Anyway, back from the break, we get a video for WWE and the Make-A-Wish Foundation to promote World Wish Day this Thursday. Fans can donate at wish.org/WWE, whatever. So we get another vignette with Isaiah Swerve Scott, a good performer and a good promo. He cuts good promos in a recording studio. I like the little segments they give with Swerve Scott sitting in a recording studio. That makes him look like he's an actual musician. Maybe he is in his own free time when he's not performing for the shithole company known as WWE. He cuts a promo on Leon Ruff and says, after last week, it's obvious the ring can't contain them any longer. Scott goes on and proposes a Falls Count Anywhere match for next week, saying this time he's playing with Ruff's life. And that's pretty much that. The match is confirmed later on in the show. We will be getting that match next week. That should be a good match, I have to admit. Toni Storm versus Zeta Ramir. Zeta Ramir gets the win over Toni Storm by a distraction by Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark managed to distract Toni Storm against a fucking rookie. A person that's making a debut match, and she loses to a fucking jobber. Let that sink in for a little bit. Because I'm trying to grasp why the fuck she needed to lose to a fucking jobber. I can't grasp it. It makes no sense. This is retarded. There ain't no reason for Zoe Stark to... Well, Zoe Stark makes sense to, distract Toni Storm. But for Toni Storm to fucking lose to a beautiful superstar press and not kick out is beyond me. I have no idea why. What the fuck is Toni Storm then made into this important character then? She's not this monster or a bully or anything. She's just a person that can easily lose a match to anybody when being distracted. This was trash. This was fucking trash, folks. Fucking trash. I just can't understand this company. I really can't. After the match, Ramir goes wild at the big win as her music hits. We go to replays and Storm tries to recover as Ramir joins Stark on the stage. That's pretty much it. Legado del Fantasma's backstage. They cut promos to warn Kushida and MSK ahead of tonight's main event. Escobar says Legado Fantasma will make a statement tonight. Then they will capture both titles. Good luck. You're going to need it. Alright, following that, we see Bronson Reed walking backstage. He stops and sees the NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae staring at him. He stops but keeps walking to the ring. Austin Theory pops out from around the corner and jokes with Gargano and LeRae. Bronson Reed versus Austin Theory. Decent match, nothing bad. The ending was a little bit of a fuck ending. I thought it was kind of stupid that fucking Dexter Lumis was near the end of this match, and why Indy Hartwell was on top of the fucking ropes, or in the ring actually, trying to do God knows what with Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis being on the top of the apron. He manages to throw her out of the way so she wouldn't get hit, and Austin Theory was Irish whipped to the other side of the ring at the ropes, and Dexter Lumis was on that portion of the ropes, and he got knocked off the apron and to the floor. Reed takes advantage and drops Theory. Reed goes to the top and hits the tsunami splash on Theory to earn the NXT North American title shot. That's pretty much that. Just a Austin Theory becoming the Jey Uso 2.0. That's all we got here. Jey Uso 2.0, Austin Theory. Yep, that's what we got, folks. That's what we got. What a fucking joke. What a fucking joke. After the match, Reed immediately starts taunting Gargano as he looks on from ringside. Reed stands tall as the music hits. We go to replays and Reed continues taunting Gargano. Great. Wonderful. MSK and Kushida are backstage with Mackenzie. They are excited about tonight's main event, showing their opponents why they are the champions. Back to commercial, and that is that. Back from the break, we see the way backstage. Johnny Gargano isn't happy with Austin Theory. Gargano blames everything on Dexter Lumis. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell blame everything on Amber Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. They are tired of the various mind games, and they hype Indy up, and she storms off to take care of business. Ooh, how intimidating. Whoop-de-fucky-doo. Imperium versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. This was boring as fuck. I didn't hardly pay attention to this. Imperium wins the match. Good for them. Good for them. Do I really care? No. After the match, Imperium music hits as they head to the stage to pose. Dan rolls back in the ring to check on Drake. Fans boo as Imperium does their signature pose. There's some obvious tension between Wolf and Barthel and Eichner. Pete Dunne is backstage with a pre-recorded promo. He says no one is talking about his name when it comes to opportunities because he has the whole locker room shook. He talks about beating Kushida and says the NXT Cruiserweight title is his anytime he wants. Why the fuck would you want the Cruiserweight title? It's the worst fucking belt in the company. It's a piece of shit. What the hell would you want that for? So he goes on and teases going back to take the NXT UK title from Walter. Yeah, sure. You got a better chance of taking the Universal title from Roman Reigns, and that is a fucking stretch. You ain't taking the title from Walter. Sorry. You're fucking retarded to even say that. And then he goes on talking about the North American Championship against Johnny Gargano, or even the NXT World title with Karrion Kross. Yeah, okay, sure. You're gonna go ahead and take the title off of these guys. Maybe the North American Championship, possibly, but the World title, no fucking way. Not against Karrion Kross or Walter. Forget it. Dunn says he's the baddest man in NXT and he dares anyone to try and prove him wrong. And they go to commercial. So back from the commercial, and Cameron Grimes is still at the jewelry store and he decides on a watch. We get WWE Hall of Famer Ted DiBiase Sr. says, "That's not a bad watch, kid, but it's not a $1 million watch." The $1 Million Man shows off his much better watch and then does his signature laugh in Grimm's face, and Ted exits the jewelry store as an unhappy Grime looks on. I absolutely loved it. I thought that was great. That was actually a good segment. I gotta give NXT that one. That was fucking funny. I hope that this becomes a thing. I would love to see Cameron Grimes have Ted DiBiase show him some more like change his attire, not his gimmick so much. I think the gimmick is okay. It's kind of fun to goof off on the character and you know, and whatnot. Talk about to the moon, you know. I thought the comment I made earlier in in my video though was actually good. You better bring some oxygen tanks with you. I thought that was pretty good. But anyway, moving on to this piece of shit episode of NXT. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus the Robert Stone brand doesn't even take place. The way Candice LeRae and Didi Hartwell suddenly attack the champs at ringside before they can hit the ring, beating them around and sending them over to the barrier. They then start beating them with food from the catering table. Boy, Titus must have been pretty fucking pissed off about that. Catering table as the boos get louder. The way goes on for a few minutes, destroying the champs. Back in the ring, Robert Stone brand has the title belts, and they're jumping around and celebrating like they just won something. I don't understand why the hell they were jumping around with the NXT tag team titles, nor do I care anyway, so let's move on with this piece of shit episode. We then get the announcers send us to Adam Cole sitting down with an interview with the Sports Illustrated Arash Markazi. We see Cole poolside talking to someone on the phone, and he says he's waiting for McCarthy, but McCarthy is waiting for him to get off the phone. Cole is asked how he's doing following the unsanctioned match lost to Kyle O'Reilly at TakeOver. Cole talks about how he's better than the roster despite being a little roughed up. He also mentions how he didn't want to carry the Undisputed Era when he asked about the decision to turn his backs on them. As far as he's concerned, they turned on him. McCarthy asked about Kyle O'Reilly, saying he's the face of NXT after opening and closing the show last week. Cole says Kyle got lucky at TakeOver and he's not ready for the main event spot. He goes on and says time will tell if Kyle is ready for a spot, but he will never have Cole's as long as Cole is in NXT. So we get where this is probably going to go. I've already predicted this. Last man standing match. Loser leaves NXT. That is what I'm getting with this. That's my prediction. Cole is asked about the current title chase and NXT champion Karrion Kross now. Cole says Kross is good, but is he great now? Cole doesn't know. Cole also says Kross hasn't had to deal with him yet. But if and when Cole decides he wants to go for the NXT title, the clock will be ticking for Kross. Cole is asked what's next for him. He knows what's next, but it's none of anyone's damn business. I kind of figure I know what that's going to be. Main roster time for your burial. Bruce Pritchard, Vince, get that shovel and that grave ready. We got some digging to do. Come on, let's dig this motherfucker a nice, comfy grave. 6 feet deep and 6 feet wide. It's coming for you, Cole. Get ready. It's gonna be a fucking blast. I mean, I've had a blast watching Keith Lee be buried. He ain't even on the show, just like you're not gonna be. Just like Ricochet isn't. You know, Cole and Ricochet put on probably one of the best TakeOver matches in the history of TakeOvers. I'm not saying it was the best. It's one of the best. But it was a fucking great match that those two put on for the North American Championship. But yeah, this is fucking trash. Whatever. But anyway, I've said that enough times in this video to kill a horse. Cole isn't happy with people saying Kyle is going to replace him. Cole goes on and says, no matter where he goes or what he does, we will see he's the best damn Adam Cole that anyone has ever seen, and he promises that. Cole ends up talking trash to McCarthy and knocking his interview skills. We see Kyle O'Reilly watching the interview from the WWE Performance Center. He smirks and shakes his head. I have to admit, this was, like I said earlier, this should have been the closing segment of the show. I think this would have been very good for the closer of this show, because the reaction that we saw from Kyle O'Reilly's face, watching the screen and seeing that interview, I thought that was great. That should be main event. That should have been their main event. That should have been something we should have seen closing the show. Not this fucking 6-man tag team matchup that I didn't even watch, and nor do I care. So we got a brief teaser promo for looks to be an MMA themed stable called Diamond Mine. I actually thought this was a fucking commercial for MMA training facility. I was trying to look it up, I couldn't find it. It was actually a legit promo for a group of guys that are going to show up in NXT. Wow, what a fucking joke. Back from the break, and next week's NXT Women's Tag Team Titles match has been changed to a street fight instead of just a normal tag team match. Leon Ruff and Isaiah Swerve Scott, as I mentioned earlier, will be a Falls Count Anywhere match, and that has been made official. Then we got Legado del Fantasma versus MSK and Kushida. The end result was... who gives a shit? Really? Who really gives a shit? I'm going to have to refresh this. Give me 1 sec just to see what the end result of this piece of shit show was. Because I didn't watch the ending and I didn't refresh my screen when I got to the bottom. So give me 1 sec. See what the hell the deal is on this. And the end result was Legado del Fantasma. Legado del Fantasma. They won the match. Big whoop. I'm not even reading the play-by-play description on what happened because I don't really give a shit. So, folks, at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And, of course, as always, leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you have a great night, guys. Bye.